Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have officially been blacklisted from all future boxing events. A move many see as justified given the damage they've done to the sport's integrity, arguably surpassing even the worst promoters. Now, they're facing the harshest judge of all, public opinion. Here's how it all unraveled. Remember those leaked training clips of Mike Tyson looking like an unstoppable force? In one, he even busted his coach's lip during sparring, fueling the narrative that he was still a powerhouse. But as it turns out, the whole spectacle was carefully orchestrated to make the public believe Mike still had it.
Fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave.
Millions tuned in hoping for a real fight, but were met with a scripted spectacle. Jake's antics were predictable. He's always treated boxing like a game. But Mike? He was supposed to restore respect to the sport. Instead, he joined Jake in tarnishing its legacy. Was it worth breaking fans' trust and betraying the sport he once claimed to love?
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money, and he's like, So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, asshole says that he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12, and he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's going to do anything to me?
Mike Tyson, once a name synonymous with grit and honor, has let us down in ways we never imagined. He didn't just lose. He betrayed the very integrity of boxing. After hyping himself up with leaked training clips showcasing his supposed power, he sold out. Jake Paul, true to form, treated the sport like a cheap reality show. But this time, the stakes were higher. Alongside his partner in crime, Nisa Biden, they turned the event into a spectacle that will forever be remembered as a mockery of boxing's proud legacy.
Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This was actually covered by World Star Hip Hop. So let's read this alleged script and see how the fight was supposed to go down. So round one was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward with his signature bob and weave.
Reports suggest Jake Paul outright bribed Mike Tyson to follow a scripted fight, all to boost views and profits. The result? Infamy. Both have now been blacklisted by major boxing organizations. Jake's career ended before it truly began, while Mike tarnished his legacy. For what? A quick payday? 5. Let's be honest. Jake Paul was never a true boxer. From the start, he cherry-picked opponents to build a facade of legitimacy, scoring wins against NBA players, retired MMA fighters, and others far past their prime. He avoided facing boxers his own age or skill level, knowing it would expose him. For Jake, fame was always the priority, not the sport. But with this scripted fight, he overplayed his hand. He craved the spotlight without putting in the work, the accolades without taking any real risks. Now, the boxing world has turned its back on him, and even his most loyal supporters can't defend him anymore. His attempt to establish himself as a legitimate athlete is officially dead. While Jake's antics were predictable, Mike Tyson's betrayal cuts the deepest. Once the embodiment of hard work and resilience, Mike's recent financial struggles seem to have driven him into desperation. In an effort to make a quick buck, he sold out, not just the fight, but the trust of millions of fans. Yes, times can be tough, but selling out the sport and betraying those who admired him is unforgivable. Mike didn't just lose a fight, he lost the respect of an entire generation. For a few dollars, he destroyed everything he once stood for and tarnished a legacy that had inspired countless fans and fighters alike.
Like I expected it to be.
What is your assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer?
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
In the end, this fight was a lose-lose for everyone. Jake's boxing career is finished, and Mike's reputation lies in ruins. They had the chance to create something meaningful, but instead exploited their fans for quick profit. Boxing deserves better, and it's clear neither Jake nor Mike has a place in it anymore.
Mike Tyson people talk to. People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even, like, because he's too old. It's like, I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows. And he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation.
The so-called blacklisting of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson isn't as definitive as it might seem. Boxing lacks a single governing body, so blacklist here refers to a collective resistance from promoters and venues. For Jake, it means fewer chances to secure big-name opponents and prestigious venues. For Tyson, it's about once open doors quietly closing on the sport's living legend. But here's the catch: money. Jake's fights have generated an estimated $75 million in pay-per-view revenue, while Tyson's exhibitions remain top-selling events. Numbers like these are hard to ignore, and in boxing, a sport is much about business as it is about competition. Financial clout matters. So, why would the industry push away two of its biggest revenue generators?
At any point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show.
Some insiders argue the issue isn't just about tradition or credibility. It's about power. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson operate outside boxing's traditional hierarchy. Jake's most valuable promotions, which he co-founded, gives him control over his career, bypassing major promoters like Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn. This independence makes him a disruptive force. Tyson, on the other hand, has transcended the sport. His name is now bigger than boxing itself. While he doesn't need boxing anymore, the sport still relies on his star power. Fans remain divided. Jake's younger audience loves the drama he brings, from flashy entrances to over-the-top press conferences and constant social media antics. He's more than a fighter. He's a showman. Critics, however, view him as a symptom of boxing's larger issue: the growing commercialization of the sport at the expense of its authenticity.
I don't know what pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan, from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no knockout clause.
Tyson's situation is more complex. While most fans revere him for his legendary contributions to the sport, his current activities spark debate. Some view his exhibition fights as a fun way to keep his legacy alive, while others fear they diminish his achievements. Watching a 57-year-old Tyson trade punches with YouTubers might be entertaining, but it's far removed from the glory of his championship days. Despite their differences, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson share a common thread: they challenge boxing's establishment. Jake has forged his own path, proving that a YouTuber can transition into a serious fighter. Tyson, meanwhile, is redefining what it means to be a boxer after your prime. Yet, the boxing world resists these changes, clinging to tradition, even as it grapples with declining viewership and a lack of fresh stars. By sidelining Jake and Tyson, the industry risks alienating the very audiences that could revitalize it. Their approaches may be unconventional, but they've demonstrated that the sport doesn't have to follow the same old rules to thrive.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. What do we got? Mike Tyson is 58 years old. Jake Paul is 27. 31-year difference. Most of us wanted to see Mike Tyson win. The nostalgia. We rock with Mike. A lot of us support Mike. Jake Paul, the famous YouTuber that stepped into boxing.
10. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson may be blacklisted, but they're far from finished. Jake has hinted at stepping into MMA, teasing a potential fight under the Professional Fighters League, PFL, while Tyson remains a cultural icon with ventures spanning TV shows and his booming cannabis brand. They no longer need the boxing establishment's approval. They've built empires that extend far beyond the ring. In fact, this so-called blacklist might even work in their favor, reinforcing their personas as rebellious outsiders and disruptors who refuse to play by the rules. Love them or hate them, one thing is clear: Jake Paul and Mike Tyson make boxing far more interesting. While the establishment clings to tradition, these two are paving the way for a future where the sport is bigger, louder, and undeniably messier, and honestly, who wouldn't want to watch that? The blacklist isn't an official ban, but rather a refusal by certain promoters and venues to work with them. For Jake, it's his reputation as a celebrity boxer that causes friction. Critics argue he's more focused on making money than climbing the sport's ranks, with a record padded by retired MMA fighters and influencers, opponents far from a light competition. Tyson, on the other hand, blurs the line between sport and entertainment, turning nostalgic exhibition bouts into headline-grabbing spectacles. While fans may enjoy seeing Iron Mike in the ring again, purists argue it's a distraction from serious competition. Ironically, both are major revenue generators. Jake's fights have pulled in over $75 million in pay-per-view revenue since his debut, and Tyson's exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. was the highest-selling pay-per-view event of 2020. They're not just fighters, they are brands, drawing in audiences that traditional boxing struggles to capture. Yet the boxing establishment, ever concerned with its image, seems to prioritize tradition over profits when it comes to these two. Critics claim their presence undermines the sport's integrity. But given boxing's long history of corruption and controversy, some would argue that ship sailed long ago. Whether or not they're embraced, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are reshaping the sport, and they're not going anywhere.
What do you think of the fight?
It wasn't a good one.
Wasn't a good one. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought and how Mike fought?
Well, you can tell something was wrong with Tyson's leg, so he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that? I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
His balance was off.